What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my Draftkings MMA picks video for UFC Vegas 99. We have Anthony Hernandez going against Michel Pereira. Got a very fun 11-fight slate on our hands. And yeah, looking forward to breaking this fight down, talking some Draftkings for the card. Before we get into it, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys want more DFS content, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. That's where you'll find all my fighter stats, my targets, projections, ownership projections, my rankings, my prize picks plays, my prize picks article, my lineup optimizers, a ton of content on dfsbythenumbers.com. If you're looking for it, check it out. And I do want to shout out Prize Picks here. We got some good stuff going on over at Prize Picks. If you use the code DFSBTN, you'll get $50 instantly into your Prize Picks account when you play your first $5 lineup. Could win, could lose, but you'll get a free $50 into your Prize Picks account. And now is a great time to sign up because we got a free square. I know nothing about basketball, but what I do know, and I don't even know who Anthony Edwards is. Who is this guy? I don't know. I haven't watched a game in like 10 years, but I think this guy can get 1 point there. So get your bonus. Use the code DFSBTN. Get your $50 on Prize Picks. Get yourself a free square and go from there. So yeah, shout out to Prize Picks for that. Great deal there. All right. So I say we get into the video, and we're going to start with the fight doesn't go to decision lines here. And sorry, I don't usually have the graphics of the fighters, but I'm not sure why they're not letting me put the fighters in there. I'll have to figure it out for next show. But yeah, we got Despain lane minus 1,400 for the fight doesn't go to decision, which makes sense. For me, I'm going to have a ton of Despain. 9,400, I think his win condition's a first round finish. If not the first round, probably the second round. But either way, he's scoring 100 points in a win. I'll have some lane just because this is a heavyweight fight. Anything can happen. In theory, he does have some wrestling upside, but I fully expect it to be Despain giving Austin Lane his sixth knockout loss. So I like Despain here. Maybe a small sprinkle on Lane as a pump play. But yeah, there's a lot of underdogs I like on this card. Austin Lane's not really one of them. Then we got the main event. Yeah, this is a main event I'm going to be very, very heavily exposed to. Anthony Hernandez, Michel Pereira. We got Hernandez 8,300, Michel Pereira 7,900. Yeah, you can make a case for both sides. And there's a couple fights on this card where you can do so, where if Hernandez is winning this fight, I think it's going to come in the second, third, fourth, or fifth round or by decision. If Pereira wins this fight, it's probably a first or second round knockout. So I think it's Hernandez late or Pereira early. Both sides make a lot of sense. For me personally, I like the Hernandez side here. I think he can weather that early storm, take over as the fight goes on. I think he has one of the highest ceilings on the entire card with his relentless wrestling, relentless pace. I like Hernandez personally, but yeah, Pereira certainly has a path, and that would be like an early knockout, and that's what he's been doing lately. So a phenomenal fight to target. I think somebody's getting served, hence that fight doesn't go decision, sitting at minus 700. Next, we have Daniel Pineda going against Darren Elkins, one of my favorite, if not my favorite fight on the entire card outside of the main event, and kind of like the main event. I'm seeing this as Pineda early or Elkins late. Daniel Pineda, it cannot be ignored. This guy has almost 50 fights, a 100% finish rate is still intact. Darren Elkins, he's very hittable. We have seen him finished a few times in the UFC by knockout. Daniel Pineda, KO1 is certainly in the cards here. But if Pineda does not finish Elkins in the first 5 to 7.5 minutes, it's going to be Elkins taking over, mixing in takedowns, just putting relentless pressure, relentless pace on him. And we've seen Pineda gas out in pretty much every single fight that does go past 6 minutes. So I think it's Pineda early, Elkins late. A case can be made for both fighters again, but yeah, I think it's a phenomenal fight to target. And then we got Jake Hadley going against Cameron Smotherman. So Smotherman is coming in here on short notice. It was supposed to be Brady Heastan versus Jake Hadley, and they had Brady Heastan priced at 8,500. Jake Hadley priced at 7,700, but since Smotherman is coming in here on short notice, Jake Hadley keeps that price tag of 7,700, which is going to make him the highest owned fighter on the entire card because he's a minus 400 favorite. And I do like Hadley here. I think it's a fight where he should not only win, but probably finish this fight. Cameron Smotherman, I think the chin's a serious concern. I think the takedown defense is non-existent. The ground game's iffy at best. Yeah, I think Jake Hadley, for me, I'm not really probably going to get to Smotherman here at 6,700, but I do like Hadley quite a bit, as will everybody else. He's going to have just a ton of ownership. Let's get into these core plays here. We got Reveles Despain, talked about him a little bit, 9,400. I think he has like 60-second finish upside. I actually called that, which it wasn't a hot take at all, but I called it in the Josh Parisian fight. The reason being is this guy has 4 wins coming in 20 seconds or less. 3 of those wins come in 10 seconds or less. He has a knockout win in literally 3 seconds. So, Austin Lane better be shooting from the jump. He better be shooting for his life, because if not, he's getting knocked out in probably 60 seconds to a couple minutes. So I like Despain here. I think it's probably a first-round finish. 60-second bonus upside. There's not a ton of finishes on this card, I don't think, but Despain's one that you got to think if he's winning, he's winning by finish, and early finish at that. Jake Hadley, 7,700. We talked about him a little bit. Absolutely has to be a core play. I'm locking him into cash games and tournaments. I like him as well. He's way too cheap. He should be priced like at 9,400 or 9,500 even, with his money line that's around -400 to -500 on some books. And yeah, it's a great matchup for him. He has multiple paths to victory, could win by decision, could win by submission, could also win by knockout. He's a lot of ways to get this done, and at 7,700, Jake Hadley should not be ignored. He will not be ignored, and he's going to just be mega chalk, but I think the chalk is certainly warranted here. Anthony Hernandez, 8,300. I'm a big Hernandez fan. I've been waiting to see this guy in a 5-round fight. The reason being is he has that 5-round style where he's going to be nonstop, mixing in takedowns, wearing on you, breaking you, and he's broken so many guys in 3-round fights. Now we're getting an extra 2 rounds if needed, and we've seen Pereira slow down as the fight goes on a lot. We haven't seen it in a little bit because we have not seen him outside of the first minute in a fight in a while. But yeah, if this fight reaches the second round, 7.5 minute mark, I think that's when Hernandez is going to start taking over, start pushing a pace, start wearing on Pereira, and eventually finish him in the second, third, or fourth round. So I like Hernandez here. I think he has the highest ceiling on the entire slate as long as he does not get knocked out in the first. Then we got Darren Elkins, 8,000. We got Darren Elkins, 8,000. I think Elkins is very much in play here as well. My bad. Yeah, so I think Elkins is very much in play. Same thing like the Hernandez fight. If he can survive the first 5 minutes, because Daniel Pineda in the first round is very dangerous. If he can survive those first 5 minutes, I think he starts taking over. I feel like this could look a little bit, maybe to a little bit of a lesser extent, but like the Minner fight, where Minner had some success early, but as the fight went on, Darren Elkins started having more and more success. Minner started slowing down, and Elkins broke the dude. I feel like he could certainly break Pineda, who just hasn't looked good outside of the 6-minute mark in pretty much every single fight he's been in. So I don't mind some Darren Elkins. Danger early, but outside of that, I think he can get the win in the second or third round. GPP plays here. We got Charles Johnson sitting at 8,800. I think Charles Johnson's definitely in play. I think he has a path here to score very well, which would be with the grappling. Sumadarji, 6 losses. All 6 of those losses come inside the distance. All 6 of those losses come by submission. Charles Johnson hasn't showed it yet, but I mean, this guy does have a good front choke series. I think a submission from Charles Johnson very much is in play. I think a 2-3 is very much in play for Charles Johnson as well. He's going to push the pace. He's going to wrestle here, I think. So yeah, I don't mind Charles Johnson at 8,800. Kyler Phillips, 9,300. Another guy that I really do like here. I think he can win this fight really by any method he wants. Like, I think he could potentially knock out Rob Font, who's been wobbling across the cage his last several fights. I don't think the durability is much where it was for Rob Font at this point. I think Kyler Phillips can get takedowns here. Takedowns will come free. Rob Font cannot stuff a takedown, cannot get back up if he does get taken down. See, I feel like a Phillips knockout submission could be in play. Could also be a decision as well, but I think either way, I think he's pretty safe this week, and I think he has some upside as well. Daniel Pineda, 8,200. A guy with a 100% finish rate should never be ignored, especially in a 50-fight sample. I think he's like 48 fights combined between wins, losses, and he has a lot of no contest as well from PEDs. But Daniel Pineda, cannot ignore him. If he's going to win this fight, I think it's a first-round finish. So I will have some Daniel Pineda for sure. I do prefer Elkins, of course, but I think Pineda, if he's winning this fight, he's scoring very well with the first-round finish. Next, we've got Asu Almabayev at 8,700. Yeah, I mean, not very high on Almabayev this week, but just another guy to throw out there because Nicolau, he's been finished in 4 of his losses, all coming by knockout. Almabayev is not really a power puncher, but maybe that doesn't matter. And on top of that, if Almabayev is able to get the grappling going, we could see him go out there and maybe put up a good score. I mean, this guy's averaging 6.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. Will he be able to do it against Nicolau? We shall see. But if he does, I mean, yeah, maybe this price tag could look like a steal. So I'm not as high as Almabayev as much as everybody else, but if he does get that game plan going, he could score decent. Live dogs here. We got Michel Pereira, 7,900, certainly a live dog. If he's winning, I think it's in the first 5 to 7.5 minutes, and he gets a knockout. So yeah, Michel Pereira, main event underdog, should not be ignored. Jessica Penne, 7,600. I think that Penne has a clear path to victory going against Elise Reed, who just doesn't seem to know what to do once the fight hits the mat. Reed's been finished in all 4 of her losses. All 4 of those losses do come on the ground. Got TKO'd by Eubanks and Hughes. Got submitted by Lupi and Loma Lukabunmi, of all people. Penne is a black belt. Penne is very experienced. She is old, 41 years old. She's coming off of a layoff. She doesn't have the best wrestling, but if this fight hits the mat once, I mean, that could be a wrap. So I don't mind Penne for that submission upside. Nicolau, 7,500. I don't mind him, just in case he is able to stuff some of these takedowns against Almabayev. This fight could look very close, could look very competitive. One thing I don't like about Nicolau, though, is he has a little bit low volume, but he certainly has a path here if he can stuff some of those takedowns coming his way. And then Elise Ardeline, 7,800, another fighter with a path here. Money's actually came in on Ardeline in terms of the money lines, closed up quite a bit. Going against Melissa Martinez, who's a very good striker, but the ground game is certainly in question. We actually saw Elise Reed take down Melissa Martinez multiple times in their fight, and if Elise Reed's taking you down, Elise Ardeline probably is able to as well. With that said, that we haven't seen Martinez in a couple of years, so maybe she's made some improvements, but if not, like, Ardeline has a path to not only win here, but get takedowns, get control time, and put up a decent score at 7,800. And then pump plays, yeah, really just Austin Lane, 6,800. I don't think he's that great at all, but it is a heavyweight fight. It is a pretty low-level heavyweight fight, to be honest. In theory, he could wrestle. He could land a big shot. I think you got to sprinkle some just for that reason, but I'm fully expecting his head to get taken off early. And then the fade's going to be Jocelyn Edwards, 8,900. I'm actually very confident Edwards wins. It's just, it's hard to imagine her scoring very well. She has no finishes in the UFC, although I think she could maybe even finish here, but I think it would be late. She's not the highest volume striker. She's not going to go out there and wrestle a ton. I just think there's much better options than Jocelyn Edwards this week for sure. So yeah, Jocelyn Edwards is going to be the fade for me this week. There you guys have it. Thanks for watching. If you guys could, on your way out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out dfsbythenumbers.com, and then be on the lookout for more content throughout the week. Best of luck for UFC Vegas 99. We'll see you guys soon.